Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are not just doing your standard run-of-the-mill biology review. No, we are diving into an absolutely epic 30-day biological journey of extreme transformation. We're breaking down the complete metamorphosis of the butterfly, pulling some totally mind-blowing data from the Florida Museum of Natural History and educational resources from Twinkle. Get ready because the way these creatures fundamentally hack their own biology is just unreal. Right off the bat, think about this core mystery. How in the world does a crawling, leaf-obsessed bug actually transform into a delicate, flying insect? The contrast between what a caterpillar is on day one and what it ultimately becomes is completely bizarre. It's essentially two entirely different animals sharing the exact same life cycle. So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the magic of metamorphosis, then follow the exact timeline. Stage 1 is the tiny egg. Stage 2 is the hungry larva. Stage 3 is the pupa transformation. And Stage 4 is the adult butterfly. Finally, we'll wrap up with how you can observe this cycle yourself. All right, Section 1, the magic of metamorphosis. Let's get a handle on understanding this incredible transformation. So, metamorphosis. It literally comes from the Greek phrase for change in shape. But the key word we really need to focus on here is complete metamorphosis. In the biology world, this means the animal goes through 4 highly distinct stages, and it looks completely different in every single phase. The insect in its larva stage looks absolutely nothing like the adult version. They barely even look related. It's basically the ultimate hero's journey, and it has strict rules. Every single butterfly has to hit these 4 exact steps: the egg stage, the larva stage, the pupa stage, and the adult stage. There are absolutely no shortcuts here. To put that into perspective, how long does all of this actually take? Well, the whole shebang takes roughly 28 to 32 days, depending on the weather, because warmer climates definitely speed things up. The egg hatches in just 2 to 5 days. The larva spends 10 to 14 days just ballooning in size. Then the pupa transforms over several weeks or sometimes even months. And the adult butterfly? It only lives for about 1 to 2 weeks on average. It's a massive, high-stakes race against the clock. So let's go back to the very beginning. Section 2, Stage 1, the tiny egg, the true origin story. Get a load of this number, 200 to 500. A single female butterfly will typically lay between 200 and 500 eggs in just one day. Why lay so many? Because nature is tough, you know? They have to lay this absurd amount of eggs just to guarantee that a tiny fraction of them will survive the elements and predators to actually make it to adulthood. And these eggs are tiny. We're talking 1 to 3 millimeters wide. That is literally the size of a pinhead. And while they come in all sorts of crazy shapes and colors, depending on the exact species, what's really brilliant is where they're placed. The mom specifically glues them onto what scientists call host plants. This is a super strategic move because the second that egg hatches, the baby is going to need a very specific type of food right away. Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, Stage 2, the hungry larva. Or, honestly, let's just call it what it is, the eating machine. Okay, so when that egg hatches after a couple of days, the tiny caterpillar doesn't just crawl off into the sunset. Nope, its very first meal is usually its own eggshell. I know, it sounds a little bit gross, but it's a huge biological life hack. That shell is packed with vital, immediate nutrients that jumpstart the caterpillar's system. Once the shell is devoured, the real feast begins. This caterpillar has one job and one job only: to eat constantly. And remember those host plants, they will only eat that specific plant. Actually, if they run out of food, they'll starve before they switch to a different plant nearby. It's wild. But there's a catch to all this eating. Their skin, an exoskeleton, can't stretch. So as they gorge and grow massive, their skin gets ridiculously tight until it literally splits open and sheds right off, revealing fresh, slightly bigger skin underneath. They go through this molting process several times during their 10 to 14-day eating binge. Eventually, they hit their maximum size, and things take a serious turn. Section 4, Stage 3, the pupa transformation. Prepare yourself because this is the radical change. Just like that, the caterpillar completely stops eating. It finds a super safe hidden spot, maybe under a leaf, and hangs completely upside down. It sheds its skin one last time, but this time it forms a tough encasement. Now, quick pro tip. Most butterflies form a hard shell called a chrysalis, while moths generally spin a protective silk cocoon. But inside,
the exact same crazy process is happening.
I absolutely love how the Florida Museum of Natural History describes what's happening inside. They call it tissue cells soup. It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. The caterpillar literally releases digestive juices that completely dissolves its own body. It breaks itself down into a literal biological soup. So how in the world does a soup turn into a beautiful flying insect? Well, there are these special adult cells that have just been quietly hanging out, totally dormant, inside the larva. Suddenly, they activate. They use all the raw protein and energy from that caterpillar soup to rapidly divide and build entirely new structures, wings, long legs, new eyes. This total teardown and rebuild can take weeks, months, or if the weather isn't right, even years.
But the wait always ends. Let's move to Section 5, Stage 4, the adult butterfly, the grand finale.
When it's finally ready, the adult splits that case right open and crawls out. But hold on, it can't just fly away yet. It's unbelievably fragile right now. It has to stay hanging upside down to literally pump bodily fluid straight into its wing veins to inflate them. The wings come out completely soft and wet, so it has to just hang out there for up to 2 hours, totally exposed, waiting for them to dry and harden up. When you put the larva stage and the adult stage side by side, the concept of complete metamorphosis really hits home. Look at this. The larva crawls everywhere, constantly chews up solid leaves, and barely travels more than a few feet in its life. The adult? It flies, it sips liquid nectar, or sometimes doesn't even eat at all. Its one and only mission is to fly long distances, find a mate, and drop eggs on the perfect host plants so the next generation doesn't have to struggle. Oh, and remember how I said the average butterfly only lives a week or two? Well, get this. 11 months. Some specific hibernating species can actually pause their biological clocks and live up to 11 months, waiting out the winter before they lay their eggs. Nature always has a loophole, right? Okay, Section 6, observing the cycle yourself. Let's bring all this awesome science right to your own backyard. If you want to see this happen in real life, here's the playbook. First, figure out the host plants in your area. Jump on iNaturalist.org. See what butterflies live near you and find out what they eat. Then just plant those specific plants in your yard or head to a local park that has them. If you carefully flip those leaves over, you've got a fantastic shot at spotting those pinhead eggs, a hungry caterpillar, or maybe even a hidden chrysalis. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Will you be able to spot this incredible tissue cell soup transformation happening right in your own backyard? I definitely challenge you to get out there and look for it. It's a crazy 30-day biological miracle happening right under our noses every single day. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and keep exploring.